this certainly would not be the first time we have seen a federal government shutdown. You may recall there have been 4 major ones since 1981, with the most recent one in 2019. But in all the previous shutdowns, furloughed federal government employees have later gotten back pay and kept their jobs. This time, however, could be different.
A threat from the Trump administration that more federal workers will be fired if Senate Democrats refuse to get on board with the government funding bill. NBC News obtained a memo from the Office of Management and Budget suggesting agencies consider layoffs at programs without discretionary funds or other sources of funding, and at programs that are not consistent with the president's priorities.
I think the administration would like to do that regardless of the outcome of the appropriations process. I mean, look what they did coming in with DOGE. And look how negatively that has affected the DMV.
Democrats say they're opposed to the Republican funding bill and have put forth their own bill because of concerns over health care costs. Right now, Affordable Care Act tax credits are set to expire at the end of the year. And with open enrollment on November 1st, health insurers have to file their rates over the next few weeks.
We're looking at potentially people doubling what they're having to pay for the same health plan.
Cynthia Cox works at KFF, a nonpartisan health policy research group. They put out a study today showing many small business owners, rural Americans, farmers, and ranchers get health insurance through the ACA or Obamacare.
It could be Republican voters who are disproportionately affected by these Obamacare cuts. I think there's never been a lot of love for Obamacare in the Republican Party, but the reality is that people who buy their own health insurance, they tend to be people who work in jobs that don't offer employer coverage.
President Trump has long been critical of what he calls free health care for undocumented people. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for ACA coverage, but immigrants with lawful status are.
Well, this is all caused by the Democrats. They asked us to do something that's totally unreasonable. They never change. They want to give money away to illegals.
They wanted to add $1.4 trillion in new spending on a stopgap funding measure, and we're just not going to do that. We can't do that. And it looks like they're going to try to shut the government down. The Democrat shutdown will be a disaster for the country.
The Democrats are willing to negotiate, and the other side, Republicans and President Trump, aren't even willing to talk.
President Trump was supposed to meet with Democratic leaders today, but abruptly canceled, saying he decided it couldn't possibly be productive.
Now, we also heard from Maryland Congressman Andy Harris today. He is the only Maryland Republican in the House or the Senate. He said, in part, given the number of federal workers that would be furloughed in the event of a government shutdown, I'm surprised I was the only member of the Maryland delegation that voted to keep the government open. Democrats preach about their care for federal workers, but their actions speak louder than their words. Now, even if and when this short-term spending bill passes, it would only fund the government through November 21st. So we likely could be seeing another round of talks 2 months from now about another possible shutdown. Guys.
Just buying a little time, it sounds like. All right, Aimee Cho. Aimee, thanks so much.